Okay, I think it's recording. Hi everyone, my name is Jem. Thank you for tuning into this video. If you're new here, this is where I talk all things tarot and astrology. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming into an Astro Hottie's corner of YouTube. So, with that being said, let's get into it. We have another birth chart reading, a celebrity birth chart reading, and this time we're doing it on Miss Chrisean Rock, a very polarizing figure in media right now. She just had a baby, and the baby's father is Blueface, and it's been a very public event that's been trending all over Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Everyone's talking about it. Krishan Rock in general has just been someone who has shot into fame. Um, she's been a good athlete from what I can recall. But as soon as she came onto the reality TV scene and the rap scene and just like social media in general, she shot up into fame. A lot of people are um, supporting her against Blueface too, whether it's with Blueface or without. A lot of people seem to gravitate towards her, and so I just wanted to take a moment to um, review her birth chart and look into some things that are going on. So let's get into it. Um, Krishan Rock was born on March 14th of 2000. I cannot believe we're the same age. I feel like she has lived a thousand lifetimes, and that's what happens when you are stuck with a man who does the things that Blueface does to her. And I'm not absolving her from any of her own behaviors as well. I think both of them both of them contribute to their outcome. But anyways, moving on. So I got off TikTok that she was born at 11:24 a.m. I couldn't find where anybody got that from, but I looked at a lot of people who did their own birth chart readings of her. And everyone seems to agree on 11:24 a.m. Maybe she said that somewhere, but if not, let me know down in the comments below. If there's something different, I'm happy to revisit. But for now, we'll just go with this. I think this chart makes sense based on what I know about her, off of what I read. And so, yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing I see is that Krishan is a Cancer rising. She is also a Cancer moon. So those chubby cheeks and like that kind of like soft appearance that she has, despite being really muscular, or at least once was previously muscular because she was an athlete, um, are is very typical of Cancer risings. Cancer risings are all about um, softness and emotion, and the it's a very like large feminine energy going on in Cancers, and so I'm that her baby face will always be there. Cancers also tend to have like bigger chests. They tend to be a little softer as well. I think that she, although being an athlete, like she's always given off this very soft, like her appearance is giving a very soft like appearance, very feminine as well. um Cancer moon, so the moon loves being in its home, loves being in Cancer. And so I think anybody can say that she is very attuned to her emotions. As volatile as they are, she is very well attuned to what she's feeling. She expresses it very clearly. She has no problem doing it. And no matter if she's mad one minute, happy the next minute, sad the other, she's going to say like how she feels, and she's going to express it. Now, express it in the right manner and articulate herself in the right way. That's a different story. Her moon is aspecting Saturn. It's also making a trine to, or a sextile, my bad, a sextile to her Venus and Mercury. So it's trining her Saturn. There's a couple things going on here. So Saturn is the planet of karma. It's also slow moving. It brings lessons, and there is always some sort of work involved in order to progress. Saturn is the sign of obstacles. And so with her moon in her first house, so her first house is who she is. Like who she is, her personality, her being, her literal being also represents mainly the head as well. That's why her face is so round and just big cheeks and stuff like that. Cancer. But her body, her physical body, is also represented by Cancer or the moon. And so the moon aspecting Saturn makes me, or can be linked to an inability to express her emotions in the correct manner, meaning that she will get there. She might get there one day, depending on if she wants to work on it. But one of the lessons in life is for her to be able to articulate herself in a manner that is productive for everybody. We can see in, you know, when she goes on live on Instagram and, all the reality TV shows and stuff like that, when she's upset, like she is upset. And that's that tidal wave that the moon always brings. Think of the moon and the tides and stuff like that, how there's low tides and high tides because of the gravitational pull. When she is upset, she goes off and she fights, and with her words or her fists. And it's because she has difficulty talking, um, expressing it in a healthy manner. There's also some, even though it's in a trine, which is an easy flowing aspect, that doesn't necessarily mean that the energies between the two planets are like good. Her Saturn is in Taurus. Taurus is very slow moving. Saturn likes being there because it's an earth energy, or at least it's not exalted or anything, but it's not uncomfortable there. It's slow moving. Krishan is not, from what I've seen, is not slow moving with her emotions. So there's, some friction right there. Um, I also see that her moon is, like I said before, in a sextile with Venus and Mercury. So some things I want to point out. Um, Krishan loves the idea of love. She Her belief. So the ninth house rules beliefs. It is naturally ruled by Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules lifestyle, beliefs, philosophy, higher learning, and travel. Um, Krish, with her Venus in there, and her Venus ruling her 12th house and her fifth house of romance, 12th house of subconscious, we'll get there. But her fifth house of romance, um, and like those boyfriend girlfriend relationships, she and her moon, like making it, there's an easy energy of transfer between her moon and her Venus. And remember, she is ruled by the moon. That is her as a person and her feelings as well. She loves the idea of love and romance. Her emotions are very attached and very free flowing when she thinks or feels like she is loved, or thinks that she's in a romantic relationship. She almost like yearns for it, as we can all see. With her Mercury being there, conjunct her Venus, but also as well making a trine to her moon. That's like all she thinks about. Mercury is of mental processes, thinking, intellect, words. It's what she thinks about. It's what she talks about. With both of them being in Pisces, Pisces is a very very romantic sign. It's all about. It's like the soulmate at sign for me. When we think of soulmates, like that's the kind of energy they like look for, the dreamy Neptunian like smoky mirrors, almost like you're not seeing everything there, but you're in a dream-like state of love. Like love is a very dream-like state for you. Your words are very artistic. She always speaks in a lot of like, I understand why it's hard for her to articulate herself sometimes, because Mercury is in its fall in Pisces. It's not like to the point. She uses a lot of like metaphors sometimes, and like allegories and all this stuff to like reference what she's going through, or she has a lot of trouble articulating herself in a way that is straight to the point and sometimes not productive to the conversation at hand. It also doesn't help that she has Saturn tightly conjunct both planets, Venus and Mercury, we see up here. So there are a lot of lessons going on in her ideas of love, her subconscious, like what she's afraid of, the subconscious karma that she has to go through, as well as her home life. Mercury also rules Gemini as well as Virgo. And so that's that home life I was referring to, but then also her mental processes, like subconscious, like her mental health and stuff like that is that's like a double whammy. So, in terms of her fame, I'm a little worried about it. Um, like I said before, Chrisean almost seems to have like 9 lives. She shot into fame very quickly. I think that her life path has always been to be the center of attention or to attract attention of some sort. Her north node is in the second degree of Leo. Second degree in degree theory is the sign of the best. Like if you have a second degree in any planet, you tend to be the best at whatever that energy is. Um, so that could be a fame indicator for some people, not necessarily all the time. With Leo, Leo is the fame energy is it's the sign of the celebrity. It's a sign of just drawing attention to someone's self or someone else. And so, not at all surprised that she suddenly gained fame, and she's good at being famous. She's good at, you know, saying things and people and drawing people's attention. She's very good at it. And I think that looking at her chart, I don't think she's a bad person at all. I think she's probably really sweet. I don't know these people, but she's probably really sweet. Um, and very she feels a lot. Like she definitely feels people's energy a lot. Um, but she's not stupid and she's not a baby. And so I definitely think she knows what she's doing whenever, things come up. Like she definitely understands, like her words are volatile and like I said, she doesn't think things through sometimes, but she definitely knows how to attract the crowd. And I'll keep that there. About her fame, the thing I was worried about with her fame. So, another indicator of fame that she has is that her 10th house or her MC, which is the highest point of the birth chart, and that is her public image. It's at 10, it's at the 10th degree. So, she's definitely built it up. She's shot up, but she's definitely built it up. Like she's gotten famous each year, more famous each year, attracts a bigger crowd almost like every single week, it seems. The ruler of her 10th house it's in Pisces, and the rulers are Jupiter, the traditional ruler, and Neptune, the modern ruler. They're both at the fifth degree of Leo, the fame degree. I've been looking at birth charts of celebrities, and I have this theory that the fifth degree might mean short term fame. Um, I'm happy to go through a video of examples, but the fifth degree will always give you fame of some sort or notoriety of some sort, but it's usually the 17th degree and the 29th degree that gives you long lasting fame. Of course, you have to take the entire chart into consideration. Um, Now, it makes me iffy on that theory. I'm a little worried that I'm a little worried about the fame going away for her just because right now we have Saturn transiting her 10th house. So it's in her ninth house, but it's in Pisces right now, and it's going to go through her 10th house, and it's in retrograde. We've been seeing recently a lot of celebrities falling from grace right now, and that is in no part to that is definitely like a sign with Pluto, sorry, with Pluto retrograding at the end of Capricorn, which means like a lot of empires are falling right now, but also Saturn in Pisces. We are demystifying a lot of things globally, including celebrities. Have always been mystical figures because they've been inaccessible. And with Pluto going into Aquarius, which is the sign of big networks, is the sign of technology, is the sign of detachment, but also humanitarian efforts. Um, it is a almost like higher octave of Gemini. Gemini loves to spread information or learn information. Aquarius is like the spread of information everywhere equally. Um, we are no longer we're going into an era where we no longer respect or want certain people at the top just because just because they have to be there, just because of some mystical era. We want the spread of information and wealth equally. I'm happy to go into a video about that because you could talk for like hours about Pluto going into Aquarius. But I'm worried about her fame just because she has a lot of fame indicators, but there's a lot of tough transits going on. And she does have Saturn going about to touch her 10th house. And if she's not careful, Saturn is all about obstacles and tough lessons. Saturn will reward you, but only after you've learned the lesson. And in retrograde, it's asking you to revisit things that you might have missed before, obstacles that you might have dodged, lessons that you might have not passed, and try again. And I do think that she's being offered a chance to try again. Now, from what I'm seeing, she went back to that man. That my man, the one that left you for, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, so I'm gonna just stop there. But I'm a little worried. So all I'm gonna say is watch out, be careful. Yeah, be careful, girl. Moon, sort of. Okay, so that was her moon. Let's talk about her relationship with that man and men in general. Funny thing is, Krishan and I have similar charts. My ascendant is in a very late degree of Gemini, and so her sign of Gemini is intercepted into the 12th house. But other than that, like we tend to have, I think 90% of our chart is the same in terms of house placements. Um, so a lot of the things I'm seeing, like I really do relate. Not that I relate to her, but I really do relate to some of the, I think, areas of life that she views, the views that she has of certain areas of life. I can see how some of her behaviors come out. Um, if we look at her fifth house and we look at her seventh house, so like I said before, the fifth house is all about romance. It's all about hobbies too and children. Um, like we all seen me, she just gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. She named Chrisean Rock Jr. Her fifth house is in Libra. And I think it's really funny how she had Mars entering in. I think she gave birth to him not too long ago, probably like a week ago or something like that. And Mars was literally just touching her fifth house. And Mars is all about action. And so that would mean like literally the act of birthing the baby. Mars is also pain. And so it's like childbirth, like pain of childbirth going in. Um, I think that it's uh, also something that caught my eye a lot was so the fifth house, so her child is ruled by Venus. And so I have no doubt, I mean, the baby's beautiful. I've seen pictures. Congratulations to her. I have no doubt that the child will grow up to be a very beautiful child. I think this baby will also show signs of just artist like characteristics, like a very artistic personality. Someone who is, I think, in his mind a lot. I see a lot of daydreaming with Venus in Pisces. I see a lot of appreciation for the arts, for sure. Um, I'm a little worried. With Saturn conjuncting Venus right now, there is a lesson involved with this baby. First of all, before I move on, I am very much against using children in order to grow up. So the sentiment that people throw out on Twitter a lot, like, oh, she's gonna need this baby to grow up and stuff like that, or this baby's gonna like make her, open her eyes and stuff like that. While I do think any form of parenthood, of course, will mature you or should mature you, I don't think you should have to place that responsibility on a child. But here we are, and we gotta deal with what we have, and I'm just gonna explain what I see in this chart. With Saturn nearly perfectly conjunct, I think it is perfectly actually conjunct. No, it isn't. It's like an orb off. It's perfectly conjunct her Mercury, but pretty much conjunct her Venus. There is a hard lesson going to be learned with this child, and I'm hoping I don't want this to be at the expense of the child at all, but there is definitely a hard lesson going on that is going to be learned with this child. And we're in Saturn retrograde, and I'm praying that you know, she really she jots down notes and she studies, because I think that moving forward, it's going to affect her public image if she doesn't do right by her child. That's what I see. Um, Moving on. So let's go into her romantic life, like I said before, and a father wound that I see. Whenever we check for the father, if you don't have a house, you check for the son. If you do have a house, what you can do is, the fourth house usually is mother in modern times, because the mother is usually the nurturing figure in the household. And then the 10th house is the authoritative figure of the household, or the father in our society. I have no idea who her parents are or how they have acted, but I'm inclined to go with the 10th house being her father and the fourth house being the mother. I think either way, both parents were absent. And this is why I say that. With the mother, I'll quickly go over the mother, fourth house, if we were to say that. If you didn't have the houses, the mother would be the moon. If you were to say that, her fourth house is ruled by Mercury, because it's in Virgo, and Mercury is in Pisces. Pisces is the house of not only like mysticism and smoky mirrors and like art and romanticism and stuff like that. It's also the sign of isolation. It's also the sign of absence and things that we cannot see and things that are hidden to us. With the fourth, with Mercury being in there, that would tell me that, one, her home life was very hidden from her friends and family, like from people with the public image. Like her home life, like she really tried to hide that, or tries to hide that a lot. Like she doesn't, like she'll talk about it, communication, she'll talk about it if she feels like it's productive, or it feels like she has a purpose in it, or it's like something that she has to get off her chest. But her home life as a whole is very hidden. Like there's something very hidden about it. We, as much as it's on like reality TV and stuff like that, I truly don't think we know the half of it. And her mom has either been absent in her life financially. Second degree of Taurus is money, was very absent financially from her life. um, and her home life didn't have boundaries. Pisces is very like flow moving and mutable energy. um, People with Venus in Pisces and Mars in Pisces don't have boundaries. They don't know when to stop. They don't know when the energy ends. They don't know when their energy starts or begins. They don't know where other people's energy starts and begins. She didn't have any boundaries there. There was just a lot of emotions going around in the house, most likely. And she just like she just didn't know how to control her emotions. Like she wasn't taught that. I assume from what I'm seeing. Um, Her 10th house of authoritative figure is in Pisces. So just automatically meaning that there is something hidden about the authoritative figure. And there's something hidden about her public image as well. There are things that we just don't see. And I don't think it's an intentional hiding or secret like Scorpio. Scorpios intentionally hide things from people. Pisces energy is more about just like the subconscious. Like it's just hidden from everybody. Like she probably doesn't even know like some stuff. And you have the sun in there, the father, at the 24th degree. Um, I mean, that is just like completely either emotionally absent or physically absent. Like I said, I don't know her parents, but that's what I'm seeing in there. Um, so this father wound, her Chiron right here, and Pluto is in Sagittarius in the sixth house. That's a generational thing. I also have it nearly on the same degree, I think. I think on the same degree, actually. And we see that her son, so her ego or her father means many things, but her ego too, um, makes a square to Chiron and Pluto. So we've got a couple things going on. I also want to note that her Jupiter, which also rules her 10th house, um, is making a square to her south node. South node is energy that we are comfortable with. And I want you to keep that in mind. So with the sun here, the sun squaring Pluto and Chiron. Chiron is a wounded healer. Pluto, it makes anything intense. It could be an obsession as well. She won with sun in 10th house, fame indicator as well, has an obsession with attention. That's okay. That's fine. The sun is also naturally ruled by Leo. Leo is, attention seeking. That's fine. That's not a bad thing. The thing is, she doesn't know when too much fame. She doesn't know when to stop. Like I said, Pisces does not have boundaries. She does not know when too much fame, what too much fame is. In the world of celebrities, I don't think that's even a phrase that exists, but I digress. Sun is also the father. There is some type of father wound there from for whatever reason that is being exacerbated by that Pluto. Pluto, I have my opinions about Pluto. I don't think Pluto is one of those planets that you can make a good planet. I'm not here to fearmonger or say that Pluto is bad or anything like that. I don't think there are bad energies. I think there are very challenging energies. And I think Pluto is one of those planets that is just challenging. Like, I don't think there's a lot of easygoing energy, if at all, in Pluto, because it's so extreme. With the sun shining in her public image, her shine just, glows so big with that Pluto energy. However, I don't think there's any such thing as too much shine, but there is too much bad fame. That's why I'm so worried about her falling from grace, to put it. There are a lot of transits and indicators where it can work against her, and it's operating from a place of wounding, where there is this lack of attention that she might have got received from an authoritative figure, aka her father, that is spurring on this need for attention. Now let's look at Jupiter. Um, Actually, I said Jupiter before. I meant Saturn. Let's look at Saturn. And it is still making a square to, I believe, it's making a square to her south. No, let me just double check. Just kidding. No, it's not. Well, the south node still, it's still important here. But her Saturn is ruled by the seventh house. Um, or rules the seventh house because Capricorn's in the seventh house right now. So seventh house is of long-term relationships. She's been with Blueface for, it feels like the past 500 decades. And so I would consider this, yes, I would consider this a boyfriend girlfriend relationship. Obviously, they're not married, but I would consider this a long term relationship. In all her long term relationships, she will learn a lesson from him. They will never be easy. I'm not saying they always have to be this bad. Anybody with a seventh house in Capricorn, please do not take this as you will meet a blue face in your life. I have my seventh house going into Capricorn and my eighth house starting in Capricorn, and I've had my fair share of experiences, but God forbid I would ever meet a blue face in my life. But um, regardless, Saturn is also a malefic. It just brings lessons every time. There is no softness to Saturn. And with Saturn in the Aries degree, the 13th degree, um, it brings very harsh and very painful lessons, especially physically painful lessons. And I won't get into too much of the, you know, DV that I'm not even alleged DV, I have to say, but DV that is happening in the house with both of them, and that has happened, and we've seen. Um, her relationships um, will always be tough, and they will be tough, especially in terms of like combating her emotions. Like I said before, her as a person and her partnerships, they directly relate with that trine to her moon, the Saturn trining her moon. Her lessons in life and her karma in life have to do with her as a person, and then who she is with romantically or just in long-term relationships. That could be long-term friendships as well. She needs to, she is too focused on being with somebody intimately. That father, or that wound that we're seeing right here with attention, is feeding into this south node in eighth house, but in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about friendships. It's all about it's like other people. It's like connecting with other people, networking in groups and stuff like that. It is attached, but still like there is a friendship type vibe going on. And her seventh house of long-term relationships. So this would be Blueface, to be honest. Or long-term relationships in 11th house, like she wants her long-term, or she needs her long-term relationships to feel like a friendship. Like she needs to connect on like a best friend level. And her south node there, like the best friend energy is something she's attached to. With her north node in Leo in the second house, she needs to learn how to be self-reliant and selfish and by herself. Leos don't like sharing the spotlight. Celebrities do not like sharing the spotlight. That's why they're on top. It's lonely at the top, but that's why they're on top. They like the attention on them. They need the attention on them. The eighth house is all about other people's resources. She is too comfortable. It's so sick. I have the same thing. She is too comfortable. So I have the exact same thing. So I'm not saying this from a place of shade or like trying to like talk down on her at all. I am criticizing her and giving her tough love when I say this, because I know, like, I have the same exact placements. I fall into the same exact energy. Her south node in eighth house, she is too comfortable relying on other people to give her resources. She is too comfortable relying on other people's money, expenses, resources in order to feel intimate and to feel self-worth. Like she has to be attached to someone that's giving her something to feed her self-worth. The reason why it's self-worth is because her north node is in the second house of self-worth. The north node is the energy that you are trying to lead into this lifetime. Um, second The second house is all about resources, but the individual's resources. So my own resources, my own money, my own taxes, my own stuff, my own house, my stuff. It's not yours. And she has the capability to do all of this. But we've seen, and she said, when she signed away all her earnings from baddies to Blueface, any one of us, all of us were like, what like what are you doing? That's just an energy she's comfortable with. Like that's just naturally how she is. And I've been there. Like you're just naturally willing to just give away your resources because it feels like, okay, I'm giving it to you, but I'm gonna depend on you to like, you know, take care of it, because I don't want to take care of it. I don't want to be self-sufficient. I need someone else to be self-sufficient. I need someone else to be sufficient for me. She needs to learn how to be self-sufficient. Like she, bottom line, needs to separate from this man because he's not going to let her be self-sufficient. And this is going to be, unfortunately, a lesson for a very, very, very long time. And it's going to be a very intense lesson. And I'm a little scared just because, like I said, Pluto is not an easy planet at all. It's challenging through and through. With Pluto conjuncting her south node, Pluto is of the extremes. If Pluto was in the second house, you could either be extremely poor or extremely rich. Pluto in the eighth house, same thing, but it's not your money. Even though, yes, she's the one earning it, it's not her money. Like she signed it away. So she could be extremely rich, which she is, but she's extremely rich because of another person. Either A, because they made her rich in the first place, or B, she signed away those riches. and she has Pluto conjuncting her south node. So this energy is being exacerbated, and she's leaning into it heavy, like I mean heavy. She's leaning into that heavy. But at the same time, it's also opposite her north node. So you get these bouts of like aha moments when you're just like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, why did I just do that? Or I need to be alone, or I need to be self sufficient. I need to do this by myself. I need to earn my money by myself for myself. Which she had that moment of clarity. And then all of a sudden, I mean, she's making a music video with the nigga. Like, y'all pray for her. Her chart is not easy. I mean, her chart is fine, but the transits are not easy. It's not easy. In retrograde, she's gonna make this mistake for a long time. Um, I do see I need her to be careful with her health because Saturn is trining her Jupiter. And that could just mean like I said before, that's also another indicator of the fame thing really could. I mean, it could go left. Like she needs to be careful, like really careful. The lesson, like I really truly feel like this lesson that she's learning with like who she surrounds herself with, like if she doesn't learn it correctly, I do think she's going to lose her fame. But also ruling her, it's in her sixth house of health and exercise and daily routine, and work environment. I think that she is going to have someone in her team might, hmm, she might fire someone from her team, or she might revisit her team. Like her team is going under construction right now, or she's revisiting maybe her finances, like her team's finances or something like that. Um, I also see Jupiter on her, exactly conjunct on her Saturn. And so it's in retrograde right now. We're in Jupiter retrograde. And so Jupiter usually forces us to, or it makes us pay attention to things externally, expand things on an external view. Excuse me. But retrograde means that we kind of like shift that focus inside a little bit more, or revisit what we're like focusing on externally, which forces us to think about like inside, like what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and stuff like that. I have no doubt that she really is thinking about her relationship with Blueface, and I'm not surprised that she let him back. I mean, you don't need a birth chart to figure that out, but she's a terrible attachment to that man. Such as a Cancer moon. Cancer moons cannot, I mean, they need to feel needed. They need to build a family. They need to feel like they have, loved ones around them. If she couldn't get it from her actual family, she was going to get it from somewhere else. Um, with Jupiter there, I just, I need her to really think about, I need her to really think about this relationship. Her to really think about him for real. Um, it's her destiny to be self-sufficient. She's gonna hate to hear that. Like, I don't know if she'll ever hear this, but her destiny is to be. I'm not saying alone, but it's to be like independent. Like she really, really needs to lean into that energy of being independent. Like it's getting ridiculous. Like she needs to. That North Node, second degree, and if she does, the way she will fly off, like the way she will pop off, bro. It's sad to see. Like it's sad to see. So yeah. That's what I see. I That's what I see so far. I have this inkling that she might break up with him. She might break up with him with South Node in Libra in her fifth house, and then North Node in her 11th house, in Aries. That's independence. That's me, 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 I. Libra is all about other people, relationships. It's the natural ruler of the seventh house. I have this inkling. I mean, they already broke up. Now, break up forever? I don't know. I have to see. But yeah. That's what I see so far. Y'all pray for this girl. Pray for this girl. I think she needs tough love. I think people need to stop acting like she's a baby. Um, and I've already seen movements of like, we need to stop paying attention to her because this was like almost like people's last straw. Like now you have a child involved. It's not just you. There's a child and involved, and we need to be serious about that. So takeaways: heal that bother wound that she got going on. Um, Focus on her like artistic expression, her music and stuff like that if she likes. Um, People are demystified. Like people are mystified by her aura, her public image. Like you see how she's doing all these things, and she also has very bad behaviors, but people for some reason like to like look over that. That's that Pisces effect, smoky mirrors. Like it's like you're seeing something but you're not really seeing it all the way through. So she has an advantage. She just needs to get rid of that nigga, bro. Get rid of him because he is really demystifying her. Which I mean, take that for good or bad. Be careful. Fame is not forever. I'm not seeing good transits for her fame indicators, but I digress. I hope she's happy and healthy with this beautiful baby boy. I hope this baby boy is protected. I wish the child at the end of the day the best. And yeah, that's all I'll get into for today. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you later. Thanks.